The annual Catholic Appeal, continuing the tradition of neighbor helping neighbor, responding to Pope Francis's call to serve with love, serving our brothers and sisters throughout life's journey, caring for the less fortunate, walking with those in need. Make your donation of time, talent, or treasure online at diospringfield.org and help us to help our neighbors in need. Support the annual Catholic Appeal.
Coming up on this edition of Reel to Reel.
I'm Peggy Weber, and I'll be bringing you the joyful story of the ordination of 2 new priests for the Diocese of Springfield.
Helping confirmation kids understand the beauty of the sacrament they're about to receive. I'm Carolee McGrath. I'll have the story.
And Dan Dumas has a look at several events taking place in the Diocese of Springfield. These stories and more are just ahead on this edition of Reel to Reel.
From throughout Western New England and beyond, this is Reel to Reel, your window on the world around you. Here is your Reel to Reel host, Sharon Roulier.
Hello and welcome to Reel as we celebrate a very special day in the Diocese of Springfield. Right behind me at St. Michael's Cathedral in Springfield, Bishop Timothy McDonald ordained 2 men to the priesthood. Reel to Reel's Peggy Weber was at the ordination liturgy and tells us more.
With beautiful music and the lovely ritual of an ordination mass, Fathers Christopher Federician and Frank Lawler were ordained as the 2 newest priests in the Diocese of Springfield. Springfield Bishop Timothy McDonald welcomed the hundreds gathered at St. Michael's Cathedral in Springfield for this very special day.
Welcome. Welcome to a celebration. Welcome to the ordination of 2 men to the priesthood of Jesus Christ. Welcome to the commitment these 2 are making to serve God and His people, to be shepherds for the sheep. In the words of Pope Francis, to put the smell of the sheep upon them, to be in their midst, to serve. We welcome all of you as we celebrate with Frank and Chris this ordination day.
Following the gospel, soon-to-be Fathers Federician and Lawler were called forward.
Francis Jeffrey
They said simply,
Lawler.
Father Gary Daly, Director of Vocations for the Diocese of Springfield, formally presented the candidates.
Most Reverend Father, Holy Mother Church asks you to ordain these men, our brothers, to the responsibility of the priesthood. After inquiry among the Christian people, and upon the recommendation of those responsible, I testify that they have been found worthy.
Bishop McDonald spoke about the duties of the priest, and the 2 seminarians expressed their resolve to Bishop McDonald by answering several questions. The last question was,
To resolve to implore with us to be united more closely every day to Christ the High Priest, who offered himself for us to the Father as a pure sacrifice, and with him to consecrate yourselves to God for the salvation of all.
The 2 men promised obedience and then prostrate themselves during the Litany of the Saints.
Mary and Joseph, Michael and
This beautiful part of the rite is to show the priest's unworthiness for the office and his dependence on God and the prayers of the Christian community. They were formally ordained when Bishop McDonald performed the laying of the hands on the new priests. The men were welcomed into the fold by their brother priests and then given their stole and chasuble. It was an emotional but uplifting day.
Today is a great day for the Church of Springfield. I always say that when we gather for priestly ordinations, because we have ordained 2 more men for service in the diocese. 2 more men who can celebrate the Eucharist, who can absolve sins, 2 men who can anoint the sick and heal them. So what a great day for the church. And I know that both Father Frank and Father Chris will bring to the Diocese of Springfield tremendous gifts, and the people that they serve will find in them great priests.
The 2 new priests expressed great joy on their ordination day.
I feel incredibly uplifted and joyful and eager to serve the people of God.
Pretty special day. It's a miraculous kind of day. I'm very thankful. It's taken a long time and a circuitous route, but it's been fun, and I'm very happy to be here.
Their new life as priests began today when Bishop McDonald gave them their new assignments. Father Federician will be at St. Mary Parish in Westfield, and Father Lawler is assigned to St. Anne Parish in Chicopee. Each man took his own unique path to the priesthood.
When you're 20, your whole life's still ahead of you and all these different possibilities. But looking back, I can see God and through His Holy Spirit kind of leading me in the direction that He wanted for my life. And eventually it became, this is what will make me happy and fulfilled. And so that's when I decided to go to seminary and become a priest.
I spent 25 good years as a stockbroker, had a very good life, did very well. Circumstances came to pass, and I found myself divorced and trying to figure out what did I want to do with my life. I had some good friends who were priests, and I started talking to them, and it became possible to sort of see what was possible. So I talked to Father Daly, the vocation director, and the marriage was eventually annulled. And once that happened, then I was free to apply for the diocese, and luckily the bishop and the vocation director were open to the possibilities.
Our newest priests.
And this day truly was filled with dreams and hope and possibilities. For Real to Real, I'm Peggy Weber.
And next year, the diocese is scheduled to ordain 1 new priest. Right now, there are only 6 men in formation. However, Father Gary says there are currently a dozen men applying for admittance to the seminary this fall. In the 10 years since Father Gary has served as vocations director, the diocese has been blessed with 26 new priests, which, based on the size of our diocese, puts us among the top percentage-wise in the country. On Sunday, June 22nd, there will be a Eucharistic procession for vocations starting at Christ the King Church in Ludlow at 44 Warsaw Avenue, following the 11:15 Mass, and all are invited to take part. And still to come on Real to Real, young people in Franklin County prepare to become full members of the Catholic Church. And Dan Dumas will be by with a look at what's happening in the Diocese of Springfield. These stories and more are still to come on this edition of Real to Real.
Commercial fishing is thought to be the toughest job a man can do. Working with the underprivileged, consoling the inconsolable, helping others through all kinds of difficult situations, feeding the spiritually hungry, bringing Christ's comfort to the world, preparing those to meet Christ. The toughest job one could ever do? The diocesan priesthood requires real men. I'm Bishop Timothy McDonald, and I invite you to consider the call to diocesan priesthood. Real people, real lives, making a real difference. For more information on the priesthood, call our vocation office at the Diocese of Springfield at 413-452-0811 or email us at vocations@diospringfield.org.
The weather's getting warmer, and there are so many entertainment options out there for you. Here are my choices for some you really want to see. $1 Million Arm. Finally, a film with a PG rating. This little film with a lot of heart and soul will have you smiling for days. John Hamm of Mad Men fame plays a former super sports agent who is now barely making ends meet. So he heads to India, yes, you heard me right, India, hoping to find his next great pitcher. But in India, cricket is the #1 sport. So now what does he do? He tries to convince two young men that they have the gift. But do they? Buy your ticket, your popcorn, and find out. The movie may not win awards for talent, but it sure was a great family film to see, with everybody enjoying every bit of it.
Is that right? 82 with that motion? Is that even possible? Lefty with juice. You don't see that every day.
Lefty with juice is good, sir?
Lefty with juice is great. Commit. Lefty with juice is money in the bank.
Godzilla. This review will be brief because this film is just a cheap ripoff of the original 1954 classic. The action, well, if you can call it that, starts when a nuclear accident happens in Japan, where a scientist, played by Bryan Cranston, starts a cover-up about the mistake that happened in his lab. Yawn, yawn, bore, bore. The creature is hiding in the ocean and it tries to create mayhem, but it's so slow, it's not worth a cent of your hard-earned money. And if you're looking for a big old-fashioned musical to see, why not head up to East Haddam, Connecticut for the production of Damn Yankees at the Goodspeed Opera House. This is that old 1955 musical with big songs and big talent and such fantastic dance numbers. Who could forget the songs Whatever Lola Wants and that great Song of America called Heart? Head up to the Goodspeed Opera House in East Haddam, Connecticut before June 22nd. And you can see my reviews, as well as read other movie reviews provided by the U.S. Conference of Catholic Bishops online at iobserve.org. That's iobserve.org. For Real Culture, I'm Mark Giza. Enjoy this terrific weekend.
You are watching Reel to Reel, your window on the world around you. Here again is your Reel to Reel host, Sharon Roulier.
This weekend we mark the Feast of Pentecost, a celebration represented in the sacramental life of the Church through confirmation. This spring, teens from many parishes across the Diocese of Springfield made that personal faith commitment and received their confirmation. The sacrament transforms them into adults in the eyes of the Church and seals them with the gift of the Holy Spirit. Reel to Reel's Carolee McGrath spent some time with teens from Blessed Sacrament and Holy Trinity Parish in Greenfield. As she reports, these teens are well prepared and excited to follow Christ into adulthood.
Eschatological, man.
I got it right.
No, you didn't say what is.
They are heavy topics for confirmation students from Blessed Sacrament and Holy Trinity in Greenfield, but their teacher, Deacon John Leary, keeps it light as he keeps them focused.
In spirit, we are connected.
Communion of persons.
Almost.
Communion of saints.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
What does that mean?
Deacon John runs the confirmation program. The 20 students meet every Sunday before the 10:30 Mass. To prepare them for the sacrament and for the very serious issues they face as young adult Catholics, Deacon John uses theology of the body for teens.
I think especially the young adults that we teach at 16 years old, it's an opportunity to teach what the Catholic Church teaches. We have them, to some extent, a captured audience. Kids at this age are thinking about it, so let's talk about it. Let's talk about it in an open and frank discussion so that we can discuss what the Catholic Church clearly teaches on sex of the body, why we are created, man and woman.
Theology of the Body comes from the series of 129 short talks Pope John Paul II gave between 1979 and 1984. Pope John Paul explained how God made people, body, soul, and spirit. He also spoke about marriage and the reasons behind the Church's teaching on contraception. Deacon John and his wife Donna, who was not at this particular class, have been teaching the teens in both parishes for several years.
Really, this is the future of the church. And you know, we talk about young people being the future of the church, and they are, but they're also the young church today. And so many people don't recognize our church as young, but it is, and it's dynamic, and it's growing. And the people of their church today, as long as they're taught with dignity and respect about the human body, what it stands for, why God created us, they can then take those teachings and, you know, share them with their other friends at school, use them as they grow older when they try to find their partner in life and get married and have children. They understand and know why God created them.
The kids in the class say they like Deacon John's straightforward, no-nonsense style.
It's a very blunt teaching class. We talk about everything that needs to be talked about, and if we have any questions, they'll answer it and they'll tell you honestly.
It's fun. It's fun as far as what I hear from my other friends who go to different CCD classes. I think I'm probably in the best one.
The confirmation class not only learns about the faith, but they go out into the world and share it. They were recently written up in the Catholic Mirror for their Bread of Life program.
We all get together on a Sunday morning and we make meals together. Like usually we make spaghetti. Last time we made meatloaf, and then we we make the meals together and we all bring desserts. Yep. And we all pack bags, paper bags, and make like 150 of them. Mm-hmm. And then after we get a bunch of kids and we all stop by people's houses and deliver them to people that can't go out and get food.
Deacon John says he wants to teach kids the reasons behind the teachings of the Catholic Church and the beauty of those teachings, and let them know that they're all based on Christ's love for us. And this is where the rubber meets the road.
Yeah, it's really a teaching of love. It really is, and why God loves us so much. And, you know, He sent His only Son to die for us. He sent His only Son to come into this world to teach us a better way of living.
Lord, thank you for having us come once again together and talk about how we can come closer to you, and let us have a joyful and peaceful week.
Deacon John says teaching this class is the most important thing he does.
You know, people will look at our church and say that we are dwindling. The numbers are just going down and down and down. I don't believe that at all. I look at what we have, and I'm thankful for what we have here with you guys here today, knowing what you know, going through the secular society that you go through, going through some of the issues that you have to go through in school and social pressures, yet you still come here. You still want to be part of this church, which I think is just wonderful. So,
Thy kingdom come, Thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. Amen.
Reporting for Reel to Reel, I'm Carolee McGrath.
I'm Dan Dumas with your Reel to Reel news brief. Graduation season is well underway, and the area's only Catholic college recently held commencement exercises in Springfield. Carolee McGrath has that story.
In front of their families and friends, the Our Lady of the Elms class of 2014 processed in proudly at the Mass Mutual Center in Springfield for the 83rd commencement exercises. This was the largest class in the school's history, with 466 students receiving diplomas. Sister of St. Joseph of Madai, Helen Prejean, a humanitarian and well-known opponent of the death penalty, delivered the commencement address.
I'm from the South, and I know how to tell stories, and I know that you like little eagles poised on your little branch and ready to fly. This is your day, and I know how to do these commencements. 3 stories, and we out of here. Are you ready?
Sister Helen wrote the book Dead Man Walking, an eyewitness account to the death penalty in the United States. The book made it to the big screen in the 1990s with actress Susan Sarandon playing Sister Helen.
Next thing I know, I get a phone call in New Orleans. It's Susan Sarandon. And I had heard of her, through Amnesty International, that she was great about human rights. but I didn't know what she looked like. She calls on the phone and said, Sister Helen, I'm reading your book. I got to come to New Orleans for a couple of days of filming. I would love to meet you.
Sister Helen is currently working on her third book, River of Fire, My Spiritual Journey.
The stories are all examples of something that St. Bonaventure said when he said, ask not so much for understanding, but ask for the fire.
It is a great honor and a privilege to be up here representing the class of 2014.
Edward Vincent Inarelli, a member of St. Elizabeth Parish in Ludlow, was the college's first male valedictorian. The biology major is hoping to become a physician's assistant.
It wasn't easy for me at all. I definitely had to work for it. Aside from the great faculty and professors at Elms, who they all pull for you, my family was definitely the biggest advocate for me. My mom worked 90 hours a week to get me through school. My dad worked 2 jobs at one point.
Margaret Kuntz, a nursing major from South Hadley, received the Sister of St. Joseph Award.
They're very supportive, the teachers, the faculty. I'm here today because of the teachers that stayed after with me and took that extra step with me. I think it's difficult at a bigger college to have that sense of community and support.
Our Lady of the Elms College recently became the 4th private college in Massachusetts to establish a doctoral program in nursing. I'm Carolee McGrath reporting.
And on June 21st, here on Reel to Reel, we'll have complete coverage of all 4 diocesan Catholic high school graduations. Well, it was a battle of wits and books. The Diocese of Springfield's 2nd annual Catholic School Battle of the Books took place recently at Mary Mother of Hope Parish Hall in Springfield. Julie Bollier tells us more.
Like a mini version of Jeopardy, timed and all, the pressure was on for these Catholic school students as they competed in the 2nd annual Battle of the Books. Patricia Pilon was one of the event coordinators from St. Stanislaus School in Chicopee.
The Battle of the Books is a trivia competition based on the books that the children have read. So each grade level had to read a selected group of books and then become familiar with their trivia.
We started during October, and it's been a long, hard time preparing for it because you have to get really interested in the book and know what the words mean and how to get ready for it.
A Lion to Guard Us by Clyde Robert Beulah.
Correct. A group of Holyoke Catholic high school students helped out and served as judges for the preliminary rounds.
I'm actually part of a Christian leadership class, and we were volunteered to help out here. We did last year as well. I think they did a great job. They were on task and excited about it. It was kind of fun. They'd huddle up together, and it was kind of cute. They just had a good time, so that's what's important, and they got the answers right, and we're proud of themselves, so that's important.
Correct. The 6 schools who participated were St. Stanislaus in Chicopee, St. Joan of Arc in Chicopee, St. Mary's Academy in Longmeadow, St. Thomas the Apostle in West Springfield, St. John the Baptist in Ludlow, Mater Della Rosa in Holyoke, and St. Stanislaus Costa in Adams. Competition was close during the finals, with a few tiebreakers. The first place in 6th and 7th grade division were the Fu Manchu Unicorns of St. John the Baptist School. The Book Sharks from St. Mary's Academy won first place in the grade 4 and 5 division, and in the 3rd grade division, another team from St. Mary's Academy took first place, the Rockin' Readers. Overall, it was a great day for Catholic schools. This is Julie Bollier reporting in Springfield.
I'm Rebecca Drake with a special report on the appointment of a new principal for Holyoke Catholic High School. Sister Andrea Suzuki, Superintendent of Catholic Schools for the Springfield Diocese, visited the Chicopee campus last Tuesday to introduce the new principal.
Today, I'm very pleased to let you know that Bishop Timothy A. McDonald has appointed Ms. Roberta Lyko to be your next principal.
I really look forward to meeting all of you and learning more about who you are and what you love about the school.
In making the announcement, Sister Andrea also acknowledged the service of present principal Teresa Kitchell, who will retire at the end of this month.
I've had a fantastic last year. Nobody had a principal's day like I have. So thank you again for everything you've done for me.
As she prepares to begin her duties as principal on July 1st, Ms. Lako has set some educational goals for herself.
I think I need to ask a lot of questions and do a lot of listening and get a sense of what they value here, what they treasure about Holyoke Catholic, and also the things that they'd like to see happen in the future.
Ms. Lako also has praise for the woman whose footsteps she will follow.
She's a really classy lady and very, very bright, very capable, and very caring.
And although she will miss the students who have surrounded her for more than 40 years, Mrs. Kitchell has some special wishes for Holyoke Catholic's new principal.
My wishes for Roberta for next year are that she has as much fun being the principal as I have had. It has been a wonderful experience.
Finally, the Catholic school year is quickly coming to a close, but not before the students at St. Thomas in West Springfield had a chance to show their spirit. Sharon Roulier tells us more.
There was a real battle during School Spirit Week at St. Thomas the Apostle School in West Springfield. A battle of the brains, that is. One of the week's events was a middle school math competition against a mature celebrity panel, involving some pretty difficult problems.
7/20. For a fifth grader, they were pretty hard. I'm glad we had some sixth graders to get some additional help.
Westside Fire Chief Bill Flaherty said he and his team were stumped by a few of the questions. What were some of the questions that you have never heard before?
Well, I know one of the answers was a rhombus. I mean, they didn't have that back in when I was in the school in the 90s. They weren't talking about rhombuses. You know, I don't even know what a rhombus is, and I think that was a fixed question for them. You know, and everybody on the team was older than me. You know, so we know they didn't know what a rhombus was.
The rhombus question actually surprised me, but the 8th grade boys, they knew it right off the bat.
So the students triumph over the celebrity panel. So what do you think about these kids at St. Thomas? They seem pretty smart.
Very quick, ready to answer. It just shows the quality of education they're provided each day here.
And in case you were wondering, a rhombus is a simple quadrilateral whose sides all have the same length, also known as a diamond.
And remember, you can always stay informed on all the happenings in our diocese by logging on to our news and information website, iobserve.org. There you will find up-to-the-minute and accurate news in the Catholic Church, both here in the Diocese of Springfield and beyond. You can also see video reports from Reel to Reel and from the award-winning team at Catholic News Service. That's our news and information website, iobserve.org. I'm Dan Dumas, and that's your Reel to Reel News Brief.
And for this week, that's Reel to Reel. Stay tuned next for a special half-hour Chalice of Salvation. Monsignor Christopher Conley will celebrate the Pentecost Mass. Also remember, if you want to heed the encouragement of Pope Francis, the annual Catholic Appeal will offer a volunteer fair this Wednesday, June 11th, starting at 5 p.m. at the Bishop Marshall Center, just behind here at St. Michael's Cathedral. See how you can put your talents to work. And to keep up to date on all of the news on the Catholic Church locally and around the world, as well as find daily news reports from our local reporting team, visit our news and information website, iobserve.org. We will be off next week. Some of you will enjoy an encore edition of our show, but we'll be back with a new show in 2 weeks, right here on Reel to Reel, your window on the world around you. See you then.
Reel to Reel is a production of the Catholic Communications Corporation, funded in part by the annual Catholic Appeal, and the support of you, our faithful viewers.